Welcome to the Say Hey podcast, the San Francisco Giants podcast for the casual fan. Give us a follow on Twitter and Instagram at Say Hey Podcast. Follow me on Twitter at Say Hey Doug, and follow Rob at Say Hey Rob on Twitter. Good news real quick. Right after our episode that we aired the other day, and I said, well, we're still not on Apple Podcasts and we're still not on Spotify. Well, literally within like 2 hours, we were up on both. So please go to Apple Podcasts, subscribe, get notified when a new episode is released so you can listen to it right away, and then follow our Spotify account. So we are on both, so you get notified when they come out. And then if you're liking what you're hearing, please go to Apple Podcasts, give us a 5-star review, leave us a nice little comment. If you don't, then just don't. Go on with your day.
Go do something else.
Go do something else, okay? We just want positive reinforcement here. And then obviously we're still on YouTube. We do this where you can see our pretty faces and talk Giants baseball. So subscribe to us on YouTube. I know we already have 7 subscribers on YouTube, so moving on up. Man.
I'm not one of them.
Moving on. Well, we could have 8. So yeah, no, go on YouTube. We had a decent amount of views the last 2 episodes on there. So please go on there, subscribe, and watch us on there as well. So Rob, how's it going today on this fine Thursday, my man?
Oh, it's a great Thursday indeed. I mean, there's so much sports going on. You got golf, you got basketball, you got baseball, and you got freaking hockey. Check this out. On Saturday, watching the hockey game. I don't know if I said this last time, but I never watch hockey unless it's like Happy Gilmore or something. But the very first 3 minutes into the game, there's a freaking fight that breaks out. 3 minutes into the game. So there had to be some like inside like Twitter beef going on because nothing can really happen 3 minutes into the game. You know, remember like when Gordon Bombay in D2 got pissed when Portman got kicked out 3 seconds into the game? Like
Bash Brothers, baby.
Yeah, so something had to have happened before, but that was the coolest thing. And you don't get fights.
Are they letting them fight again?
If they let them fight that day, I told you, I watched a lot of hockey. It was the first game of the NHL restart. And, yeah, fight broke out right at the gates. It was awesome.
Man, you know, I got to admit, I have not watched any hockey yet. I love playoff hockey. I will say this. I really don't think there's anything better in sports than playoff hockey. And I know a lot of people say that, but, dude, if you have never watched, you know, especially like a Game 7, doesn't even matter what round it is. It could be the first round of the NHL playoffs. Playoff hockey is fantastic. And I put on Twitter like 2 weeks ago. And I'm a very loyal sports fan, but I would say out of like my teams that I follow religiously, like the least amount were the San Jose Sharks. And hey, they've been in the playoffs, I believe, like every year except one until this year. But they can never get it done. Been there a couple times, can never get it done. I love the Pacific Northwest. I love Seattle. I have family up there. I've been looking for a team to root for up there. So I put 2 weeks ago, I am officially a Seattle Kraken fan. And the great thing is because they have not played any games ever, I can root for them right away. So, you know, I don't have to give up some time. Because my thing is like, say, for example, Robbie's been a Giants fan forever. Now, say he abandons the Giants and he wants to go be a fan of the Yankees now, which
I thought about it.
Figures. See, my personal thing is you have to be like in a purgatory for 3 years where you can't root for a team. But after those 3 years are up, you serve your probation, then you can be a full-blown Yankee fan and root for them, tweet about them, and all that stuff. You know, I don't believe you can just be like, oh, the next day you're a Yankee fan. You know what I mean?
I know what you mean.
I don't know how you feel about that.
I know what you mean. I mean, I thought about rooting for the Yankees the very next day, never talking about the Giants again. Haven't done it. But, I mean, I thought about, the Cubs, the Padres at one point. I was really liking them, but I wouldn't leave them. The Marlins, when they won those World Series, at that point, the Giants hadn't won nothing, and the Marlins were either winning a World Series or they were the worst team in the league. I'm like, that's not fair. I should leave, So I don't know what the rules are, but I see what you're saying. But as a loyal Sharks fan, haven't missed a game since I was 3. Very sad. See you go.
Haven't missed a game.
I have a hat and everything.
That makes it legit. That's the thing. I do want a Seattle hat because, hey, their logo and their color scheme, pretty badass.
What
I
is their
love it.
color scheme?
It's like a navy blue, a frost blue, and like a red trim. It's sweet, dude.
Like Gatorade Frost Blue?
Sure.
Got it.
Is it in you?
Yeah.
That's what he said. Yeah. So anyways, no, yeah. I know we went off a little tangent there, but I am excited to be a Seattle Kraken fan. And playoff hockey is legit. So if you have not watched playoff hockey, go watch playoff hockey. All right. Let's jump into Giants baseball.
Do we have to?
Well, we kind of tipped the other day that the start of this 10 game, or just before this 10-game road trip took off, that this could be a really difficult road trip. Rockies for 4, at Coors, at Houston for 3, or no, I'm sorry, at LA for 3, and then at Houston for 3. So tough 10-game stretch here on the road. So just to sum it up, and then we'll go into more details. The Rockies took 3 of 4. Game 1, Rockies 7, Giants 6. Game 2 on Tuesday, 5-2 Rockies. Game 3 last night, Giants came from behind and won 4-3.
It's a miracle.
And then today, little exciting late, but fell to the Rockies 6-4. So unfortunately, they fall now to 6-8 on the year.
Yeah. Still not bad.
3 of 4. Yeah. Hey, yeah. I mean, we had the lowest of low expectations coming into this year. So
y'all know.
Technically, they're still in the playoffs. If it started today, I know.
They're not the Marlins, but they're in it.
You mean the 5-1 Miami Marlins?
Yeah, those guys.
So game 1, Johnny Cueto on the mound against Chichi Gonzalez, and Cueto went 5 innings, gave up 3 runs, 2 earned, 4 strikeouts, 2 walks, 85 pitches, 54 of them strikes. Not bad. He was okay that night. He was pretty good. I wanted to get into, because you and I talked about Cueto right after the game. What happened after the game with that night?
Just hearing things, through the Twitter grapevine and stuff, and I think Alex Pavlovich confirmed it the next day on KMBR, right? Yeah.
Yeah, I saw him tweet it too.
Right. Yeah, Cueto wasn't really digging the shift, and I think they had the shift going with runners on, and I'll admit too, as a fan, like when you're watching the game and there's a guy on first or whatever, and you see what looks like a routine ground ball, you're thinking, oh shit, double play, and the shortstop's playing behind second base, and that thing's just rolling
into left center,
rolling on 95 hops, into left center. And yeah, that happened a few times to Johnny Cueto the other night, and I don't think he was too thrilled with it after the game. But this is Gabe Kapler's team, and the shift wasn't born yesterday. It's been around a while now. Cueto wasn't born yesterday either. He's been around a while now, so you got to adjust. We're all, well, not us, but they're all learning on the fly. New regime. It's not going to be sunshine and rainbows all the time.
Well, and we debated actually having a segment on the shift today, but I think we are going to do one soon, because I love talking about the shift. But yeah, just like, you always hear people say, well, hey, batters have to adjust to the shift. Well, guess what? So do pitchers. And so, yeah, but again, that's for another day. We will get there eventually, though, because I do want to have that discussion.
Yeah, between the shift and, the errors that night, Alex Dickerson, they ruled it a hit. That was not a fucking hit. He dropped that ball, and then I think it was, 2 or 3 batters later, they hit a ball and
they made him pay for it,
into right field, and then he misses the cutoff man, and I think Chadwick Trump went to go get the ball, and nobody was covering home, and it was a shit storm. And yeah, the Giants officially had 2 errors that night. I counted 3 or 4. So and that was kind of the story of the whole series there, honestly, in a nutshell, but we'll get to the rest.
Yeah, we will, because I did want to touch on the errors, because it's been a theme. But speaking, you brought up Dickerson at the plate, though. He hit his second bomb of the year that night, and then so did Chadwick Trump. He's been good when he's been in. And I kind of did want to go into that with you we joke on if you're following us on Twitter yet, you see us joke about Heineman, and we're always calling him Heineken. And I'm always putting the gifs on there of Heineken.
Well, they call him Heine, so I don't want to steal their shit. So we got to call him Heineken.
Yeah, I mean, here's a green bottle, my friend.
Yeah, for sure.
But Trump's definitely been better at the plate and probably behind the plate because Heineman's, a walking catcher's interference. I feel like every other night. He's got 3 already this year, right? Yeah. Usually, I think Posey has probably 3 in his entire 10-year career. So I mean,
I can almost guarantee you right now, Heineman's going to lead the league in catcher interferences.
If
he doesn't have one more, even if he doesn't have one more.
That's what I'm saying. He doesn't even have to play the rest of the year.
Right.
But also in this game, Nolan Arenado, who had been not doing real great going into this series, but he always finds a way to get going against San Francisco. And what does he do? He homers in the first game, the second game, and the third game. So Arenado gonna Arenado. You already mentioned 2 errors in this game, Dickerson, and the other one was Longoria. And I also put in the notes through the first 14 games, Giants lead the major leagues with 15 errors. So they're averaging more than 1 a game. Pretty pathetic.
By about 3 or 4 too. So
which is significant.
They have a healthy lead.
The crazy thing is too, and I'll skip ahead real quick to game 4. That was today, but they did not have an error today. And I want to say, is that the first game all season they didn't have one? I think it's the first or the second. It's right there.
I don't know, but I wouldn't be shocked if it was the first game.
So any other thoughts on game 1?
No, not really. Wandy Peralta finally got tagged up a little bit in that game. But again, that had a little bit to do with the non-error call on Dickerson's throw that rolled all the way through the friggin' infield. So, but that game was basically just a shitstorm. There's nothing else to really say.
Caleb Berger threw in that game as well. He's been pretty good.
Up until today, he's been pretty good.
Yes, he's been pretty good. So again, Giants bullpen. It's been kind of holding this team together, I would say.
They're a wild card every night. They don't have roles.
It's true, which could be a good thing, especially with a lot of young arms. So,
of course. I agree.
Game 1, 7-6 Rockies. Game 2 belonged to German Marquez. Dude, that he was on in game 2. 7 1/3, 2 earned, 9 Ks, only 1 walk. Went over 100 pitches, which this season, you're not seeing that a bunch because like we've said several times already in our few episodes, managers are going to the bullpen. But when a guy was throwing as well as he was that night, you're going to ride him. And he looked really good. He's 2-1 through his first 3 starts, a 1.89 ERA. So.
And now you can add a start in Coors Field, albeit against a team that's not very good. But if you have 3 starts and your ERA is in the ones, with the start of Coors Field, man, you're on one right now.
You've earned it.
Good for him.
Yeah. Other notes in this game, especially regarding the Rockies, Charlie Blackmon, dude, is a freaking hit machine. And again, I'm going forward to game 4 today because I was able to. I'm going to be honest. I went back to work today. I work at a school. Thankful I still have a job, but had a little downtime today. Was able to watch some on my phone, and I felt like every time I turned it on, the Rockies did something well, and it hurt my heart. But I turned it on right before, I think it was in the 7th inning. Charlie Blackmon had a 2-0 pitch, I believe, and just double-deckered it into right field. He just squared it up easy.
Indeed.
And I also tweeted out the other day, he still has the best walk-up song in baseball.
God, I mean, I hate it. I mean, that's getting right there with the Beethoven. No, with the Beethoven at Dodger Stadium when dudes strike out.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, God, yeah. I mean, it's not quite there yet, but it's getting there.
Yeah, but Kevin Gausman got to start that night in game 2.
Well,
yeah, he did pitch. I said he pitched okay. I thought he pitched good enough to win.
Sure.
5 1/3, 4 runs, 3 of them earned, 7 Ks. It felt like his velocity was pretty good that night. He was touching 96, 97 consistently.
Sure.
So that's why he had the high K amount. Tony Watson threw pretty well out of the pen. He only faced 2 batters, but still threw well. Menez and Selman actually has been – we haven't seen a ton of Selman, but he's been pretty good when he's been in.
He's been solid.
Yeah. So, game 2 –
you gotta mention, Steven Duggar's Ian Kinsler moment.
That's true. Thank you for bringing
because that really fucking sucked.
It did. And
that sucked.
Because that thing was, I would say if it's an inch further, it probably bounces the correct way and goes over.
Yeah. Yeah.
It just bounced right back into play. And a lot of people, I'm not gonna lie, I had to like make sure on this before I tweeted something. I was wrong. So I did look up the major league rules, because I think a lot of people aren't 100% sure of the yellow, top of the park. I don't even know why it's there, because if it hits it and it comes back in play, then it's a double.
Right.
But I don't know. I don't see the purpose of the yellow line at the top of the wall. But
me neither. Never have.
Yeah, and that was kind of a momentum killer. Like it obviously it got in. I think it got in 2 runs on that.
2 runs. The only 2 runs.
Could have been the third.
Yeah.
So game 2 goes the Rockies' way, 5-2, and that was just like you said, the only 2 runs. So frustrating. Game 3 last night. Giants win 4-3. I kind of wanted to start off this game with asking straight up, because I know how I feel. I want to know how you feel. Is Logan Webb the Giants' best starter?
No, Johnny Cueto is still the best starter, but I think Logan Webb he's pitching with purpose right now. After last year getting busted with those PEDs and, kind of, falling behind a little bit, he's really answered the call. And I think, this whole turnover, it was a fresh start for the whole organization, but especially a guy like him, who clearly had the resume down there in the minors, but hadn't really gotten up here except for a couple spot starts last year in September.
Yeah,
when it didn't really matter. So yeah, I mean, he's really taking the bull by the horns right now, and 1 earned run, and what I believe is his first start ever in Colorado. I mean, that's pretty damn impressive. I mean, albeit the Rockies aren't tearing the cover off the ball yet, but I mean,
they started to in this series.
That's a potent lineup though, and good for him.
Yeah, and I was listening to KNBR actually last night, and I forgot who was on, but whoever he was saying, and it wasn't our guy Marty Lurie.
Oh, our boy.
And that was sarcasm, but we won't go into that. But anyways, he was saying, Logan Webb right now, and I know you just said Johnny Cueto. I get that. But he's saying right now, Logan Webb, best starter on the Giants right now. But on most teams, he'd be like a 3 guy. And he I don't know. I could see him maybe as a 3-4 guy. But he was really good last night. The velocity was up again, too. I don't know. I feel like everybody's throwing harder this year. I don't know if they had that extra time and they're fully rested. And
that has something to do with it, I think.
It could. But Webb did go 5 innings last night, the 1 earned, 4 strikeouts, no walks, and he did only throw 68 pitches, 50 of them strikes, though. That's a crazy strike-to-ball ratio.
The other thing, though, about Webb, though, Donovan Solano makes his 3rd error of the year in that first inning, which leads to a run. And I don't know. Like, I've never done it. You've never done it. But, you're making your first start ever in Coors Field on a team that I'm sure in the back of your mind isn't very good. And you got dudes booting the ball around in the first inning. And
you can't trust that defense right now.
Unearned run. And for him to lock it down after that, for the most part, I mean, that's impressive. That shows some composure.
People forget too. Logan Webb's 23. I mean, dude's young. So
he's a child.
I hope he continues to pitch well, and then he could be a permanent part of this rotation the next couple of years. That'd be great. Especially when Cueto and Shark are gone. That'd be nice. So, but yeah, through his 3 starts, Logan Webb 2.13 ERA in 12 2/3. 10 strikeouts, 5 walks. So, but his command was much better last night. Obviously, no walks. And then I had the bullpen numbers up too.
Hold
They
on.
were
Is Trevor Gott the closer? I mean, that was his third save.
I well, you beat me to the punch. Yeah, I was gonna get to Trevor Gott. He's looked good, dude. You know, he only threw half of his pitches for strikes last night, 9 out of 18. But that's the thing with closers. It's okay to be a little wild. And so sometimes,
Effectively wild, like they always say.
Correct. And there are such things in the situation as good balls. So, I mean, good non-strikes, I guess I would say.
Well,
so,
I mean, personally, I never liked the ball coming at my chin. Like,
no.
Even
if
I knew it was an accident.
Trevor Gott's thrown high 90s. I mean, so he's looked good. I did want to get to that. I was going to say Trevor Gott's, he's the closer, at least right now.
At least for now.
So he's solidified that.
And Brandon Belt.
Yeah, I wanted
the Brandon
to get to
Belt show. Come on, man.
2 for 4 last night, 3-run bomb, had a double. Robbie and I are not big Belt fans, but when he is hitting well, it's huge because it's just like adding something to the lineup. I mean, that's cliche, but it's true because you can never really consistently count on his bat. Dude's super streaky. So we're hoping he's about to go on a good 2 to 3 week streak where he's hitting the ball well and hitting for power. We need him to hit for power. And it looks like he's starting to square the ball up. So, maybe we'll be a little more quiet on Twitter the next couple of weeks with Brandon Belt. Hopefully.
I mean, no, maybe for sure. And it's not that we hate Brandon Belt. It's where he is slotted in that lineup and what he's expected to do. And he just quite simply can't do it consistently. I mean, he's had a hole in his swing since that inside pitch above his hands. That's he has been able to hit that pitch in 9 years now. Like, and at this point,
or the front door slider.
Yeah, and at this point, you just that's not going to change. So the fact that he's hitting cleanup on this team, I don't think is fair to him because I think he knows.
He's got to know.
He's up there to take pitches, work
and get on base
and get on base and maybe run into one every now and then. But
because he does, he takes his walks. I mean, his at least through last night his on base percentage is still at 409, which is really good. So I mean, if you have a 400 on base percentage, we'll take it. So
Brandon Belt.
Yeah, Brandon Belt. Anyways, also wanted to touch on real quick too. Looks like the Panda might be heating up too. 2 hits last night, 2 hits today. And we're very, like we said before, we're very critical on the guys that have been there before or have gotten brought back. So yeah, like a Belt or a Pablo. I'm not even going to bring up the other 2 dudes, but if they can just contribute, somewhat to mix in with this, new core of a Giants lineup, that'd be great. So I'm all for Pablo getting going, DH him or put him at first every once in a while and see what he can do. So
I think he's fighting for a roster spot because he's expendable right now. So I say keep running him out there. He's playing with purpose.
So 4-3 Giants in game 3. And then finally today's game 4, 6-4 Rockies. In the last episode, we talked about who we thought would start game 4. And I said Sean Anderson. And you said
Tyler Anderson.
And Tyler Anderson threw very well today. 5 innings, 2 hits, no runs, only 3 walks, only 3 strikeouts, but threw pretty well. ERA for the season now at 2.19. So Tyler Anderson threw well again. And Donovan Solano, 3 more hits today, man.
3 more
Crazy.
hits.
3 more hits.
He is without a doubt tearing the cover off the ball. And yeah, if he can just seal it up a little bit in the field, man, I mean, he'd be my favorite player right now. I mean, he's up there, but yeah, I mean, he's up to 450 now. You just said
465.
465.
Yeah, he's just dialed in right now. Yeah. Doesn't walk much because his on base is at 478. But you know
that's
what?
All right.
Just hit, man.
That's all right. It's a rebuild. We're here to be entertained. We want to see the ball, get sprayed around the outfield a little bit. But yeah, going back on Tyler Anderson, I'm sure Kapler and those guys came to him, and he was probably more and more than willing to take the ball today. All that Coors Field experience, he's had in the past, and yeah, he probably said, "Oh, sure, I can give you 5." And not only did he give him five shutout, and normally if you're doing that, you probably have a 3-4 run lead on a good team, and even on the Giants, you'd expect them to scratch across a couple.
But the
But
Giants won a hit at home, but not at Coors Field. So
no,
at least that's what it feels like. They did have 11 hits today.
they did. I think they were all mostly from the 5th inning on, but yeah,
it was
you're
late.
right. They did.
A guy that I've been again, I've mentioned this before, really high on, and he got off to a really slow start, but Dubon is starting to get going.
He is
at the plate, and
great.
it's nice
Great to see.
2 for 4 today, a 3-run bomb, and he knew right off the bat. I mean, he took about it felt like an hour. Yeah, it felt like an hour and a half getting out of the batter's box.
I mean, that was some Hanley Ramirez shit right there. I mean, that was awesome.
And then, did you notice when he crossed home plate, he did like the little like shish, and I'm kind of thinking like, dude, like
no, because I was driving, I didn't see that.
So hold on, there's a little story to that too, though. And he's doing that, and I'm watching it. I'm like, first of all, nice bomb. But then I'm like, why? Why are you doing that? Like, what have you done? And then I think it was the next inning, Daniel Murphy pinch hits a ball out, and while he's rounding second, just stares down Dubon, who was out in center field at the time.
Oh, man.
And I'm just like, well, you have that one coming, kid.
By the way, him a child.
Yeah.
Called him a child.
Dubon did make a nice play in center today, too.
I heard. Yeah, he leaped at the wall, made a play. Yeah. I heard it again. I didn't see it, but I heard it.
Also, too, before this game, Andy Suarez and Duggar were sent down, but it was to the taxi squad. So they'll technically stay with the team right now because they're on the road.
Right. Yeah.
So they dropped the roster from 30 to 28. And we did bring up, that was kind of a big part of the last episode, was taxi squad changes and utilizing it. But yeah, so the taxi squad now went from 3 to 5. So, okay. Hey,
it's a start.
Now, if something happens, use it.
Yeah.
So
also, I gotta mention this, and this wasn't just today, but today alone, the Giants grounded into 4 double plays, and like you said, they had 11 hits and they scored 4 runs.
4 runs.
Yeah, that has a lot to do with it. And not only that, they grounded into 10 double plays in the series as a whole. And I really don't think a team of fat kids could do that if they were trying to in a 4-game stretch. Like, that's hard to do. That's very, very hard to do.
And it's frustrating.
It's frustrating as hell. And this is supposed to be a young team, and we're supposed to be getting quicker and stuff like that, and we're just not there yet. But
man, we could really use a Billy Hamilton. I'm kidding.
Yeah, no, but that's 10 double plays in 4 games at Coors Field. They're lucky they won once.
Yeah, true. And do you have any closing thoughts on the series? We kind of went a little longer, but I mean, it's fine. It was
glad to be
gone. By the way, Robbie's drinking a Coors Light, so very fitting.
Oh shit! I didn't even notice that.
Yeah, I did until you just drank it. I'm like, oh, I see you're sipping the Kool-Aid over there, Rod.
Well, I'm glad they're gone now. So moving on.
Yeah, moving on. We are gonna move on to our next topic. Last week we did our week 1 power rankings. And like I said, we do want to do like different rankings and stuff. And we will switch it up soon. But I do think we should do a power rankings every week, and then we can, mix up other rankings. But for this week, we are going to stick to the power rankings. We won't go into too many details like we did last time. But I did want to reveal our new power rankings. So, Rob, let's start with you. Who is your number 5?
All right. Coming in at number 5 now are the Oakland Athletics.
Ooh.
One of my very high on these guys. They haven't started hitting quite yet, but they broke out for 11 runs Monday night in Seattle. And these last couple of days against the Texas Rangers, they're starting to hit the ball a little bit better. So, and their bullpen, I believe, is got a collective ERA of like 1.59. or something like that. I mean,
Liam Hendricks is really good.
Oh no, he is, yes. But I mean, that's ridiculous because they're starting pitching. It hasn't been great. They're expecting a lot out of guys like Mike Fiers, who did pitch well today. I did this list last night, by the way. he did pitch well today, and Sean Manaea, who threw that no hitter, perfect game last year.
It was a no, I believe.
Yeah, and he's been struggling a little bit thus far, but they've had 2 walk-offs already, 2 walk-off grand slams.
Grand slams.
Yeah, and so they are finding ways to win. I believe they're up to 9-4 now after today because they did win again today. So they're finding ways to win without hitting, and that just goes to show you, that they're gonna be a great team down the stretch.
Yeah, no, I agree. We've both been very high on the A's. I have them at number 5 as well. They are in my top 5. They've won 6 straight. We know what that lineup can do, and like you said, the pitching's slowly been coming around. I don't know why I'm drawing a freaking blank right now. Frankie Montas. He's supposed to be like their ace, and so like they got if you're not from like here in Northern California, like you don't know many dudes on the A's, but if you are here and you love baseball and you follow the A's, like this is a damn good team. Yes. I have them winning the West still, and they're starting to show why. And Indeed. I also, not gonna lie, I put some money on them to get to the World Series. We brought it up, not saying win it, but get there. I have money on a Dodgers and A's World Series, so I'm putting that out there now. I'm sorry, Giants fans. I'm sorry, Giants fans. But I probably just lost some people, but whatever. At least we're honest here. We're not fake. Yeah. Oh, the Giants are going to win the World Series at plus 9 million. But I love the A's, and I think that they could go as far as they want to. And they're right there with the Yankees and the Twins and the Astros in the American League. So
I'm with you.
Both at number 5, the Oakland Athletics.
Yeah, that was weird, but cool.
Yeah, give me your number 4, man.
The Minnesota Twins.
Okay.
They're doing their thing. They're still hitting the shit out of the ball. They finally got a good start out of Jose Barrios, which is huge because he struggled his first couple outings. And their bullpen's been overachieving a bit. Just looking at their box scores a bit. That's their biggest question. That was their biggest question last year. I mean, we talked about it last week. They traded for Sam Dyson. That blew up in their face.
Yeah.
But yeah, they're winning some close games too because they're not outside of Barrios last start. Guys like Maeda and Hill, they're only going 5 innings. Homer Bailey, they're only going 5 innings. So you got to give a lot of props, to their bullpen right now. And same thing. I think they just beat up on the Pirates. I think they lost today. But yeah, I think they took 2 out of 3 from the Pirates, and they're just winning series so far. And I have them winning the Central, but I don't know if they at this point have the pen to compete with the big boys in the AL. But right now, I mean, they're taking care of business. So Twins. Number
4, the Minnesota Twins for Robbie. Excuse me. My number 4, I have a new team as well. Obviously the A's are new for me at 5 in my new power rankings, but I'm going with the Chicago Cubs at number 4. And I was very pessimistic about them going in this year because I really liked Milwaukee, and they have not been that good. The Cubs are 10-2. They've won 6 straight as well, just like the A's. Mm-hmm. And I feel like they're doing it with everything. I had their numbers up, and I'm pissed because I lost them. So now I'm stalling. But no, the Cubs are good, man. And I don't even think – I may be wrong on this, and I'm totally looking like an idiot probably because I'm probably wrong. But I thought Kyle Hendricks hasn't even pitched that well yet. And we know they can hit. Obviously, they got Javi and Bryant and Rizzo and Schwarber's healthy. Mm-hmm. So they can hit.
Sure.
Even little, was it Happ in center field? What's his
Ian
name?
Ian Happ.
Ian
Hell
Happ.
yeah.
Yeah, Ian
Hell
Happ.
yeah,
Ian
man.
Happ's been good.
Yeah,
So
he's a
yeah,
baller.
I'm just gonna stop talking because I feel like I'm very ill prepared. But I am not regretting the Chicago Cubs at number 4. That
No,
is who I have there.
no, you can stop right there because at number 3, I have the Chicago Cubs.
Oh, bam.
So yeah, they've they've been hitting a little bit, not quite up to their standard. Like the power numbers that have been there across the board for them, but yeah, like as a team, they're I think they're only hitting like 244, right, whatever, as a team right now. But they're scoring runs, and Kyle Hendricks, he has been a little spotty his last few starts, but currently up to this point, he's the only guy who has a complete game shutout on his resume, which he threw opening day against the Brewers.
Yes, that's right.
I think yeah.
He did look really good opening day.
Yeah,
that is true.
I think he has one other win in between, but that day in particular, he threw like only 91 pitches,
Mm-hmm.
and even a guy who's been around a while, Alec Mills, he's been in their system for a while. He's like 28, and when I saw he was going to be in the rotation this year, it kind of led me to believe maybe they might want Johnny Cueto here in a couple weeks. Who knows? But to this point, still early. I mean, Alec Mills, he's 2-0 with a 1.38 ERA. Against some quality ball clubs too. He threw against the Reds, looked pretty good. Threw against Milwaukee that first week, looked pretty good. And Darvish has actually pitched pretty well up to this point. I think he's 2-0 ERA, like 2.38 at this point. So kind of a little renaissance here for him because
little vintage. Darvish.
I thought he was done, but he's got a lot of money on that contract, so the Cubs can't really do anything with him. But the only thing holding them back to this point is Craig Kimbrell, who has looked like shit, to put that mildly. I think he's given up a run in every outing he's had so far.
Yeah, he may
blown
be
2 saves.
He may be getting at the end of his tunnel there.
But it's an easy fix, I believe. If you can poach one of these bad teams for a closer if this continues.
Yeah.
So
very true.
Yeah, Cubs number 3.
All right. So my number 3 will again feature a new team into this week's top 5. And it's going to be the Colorado Rockies. Obviously, I don't need to even go into too many details about them. We saw what they just did in 4 games with the Giants, took 3 of 4. They're 9-3. The good thing about them taking 3 of 4, surprisingly, against the Giants is it keeps the Dodgers out of first place. Okay, so
that's always a good thing. That's a good
thing. Not for my betting slip, but anyways, right. No, I'm joking. Hey, trust me, I don't care if the Dodgers don't win it all again. I don't even care if it's a 60-game season. It's another laughing matter,
sure.
Because they're that good. But the Rockies obviously. We touched about it a little more in the preview of the Rockies series than we did in the recap tonight, but the pitching's been better than anticipated and then what we're used to. Obviously, German Marquez is throwing really well right now. The lineup is coming to life. Daniel Murphy's been good. Dahl's starting to heat up a little bit too. Arenado's obviously heating up. It's a good all-around team. I really like the Rockies, surprisingly, and they're number 3 for me.
Good pick. So at number 2, I will go with the Los Angeles Dodgers, because how can I not? They're not even hitting yet. That's the craziest part. Bellinger, Muncy, and Turner, I believe they're all hitting under 220. Turner might be up to like 230 now, but the last time
going.
Yeah. Muncy and Bellinger, I believe, are both hitting like 190, which is, that's not going to last. But Corey Seager and AJ Pollock, good freaking Lord. Seager, 356, 3 bombs. AJ Pollock, 364, 3 bombs. Pollock's playing every night like he's playing the Giants from like 5 years ago. And so when I see that and I see the Giants are coming to town this weekend, I'm like, motherfucker. I guarantee he plays every day, right? And we're going to be in trouble. But and they just got Clayton Kershaw back, who the Giants missed. So, the Dodgers are solid across the board. There's not much you can really say or that we haven't said. But the interesting point with the Dodgers is Corey Seager, because before the year started, you'd be hearing the rumors about on Dodgers Twitter, we want Francisco Lindor, this and that,
Yeah,
and they want they always want them.
that's true. They always want the
They want the
big
big
name.
sexy names.
Yeah.
But and I believe this is a contract year for Corey Seager. I think it is, or he's coming up on.
It's got to be right there.
Yeah, and to see him hitting 356 right now with 3 bombs and 8 RBIs, and I mean, hell, that fool can win the batting title if he keeps this up. I mean, we're a few weeks in now, and you don't see really anybody other than the great Donovan Solano hitting over 350. I'm not saying Solano can't keep it up, but I mean, I hope he does. But Seager, that's a scary sight because he's playing with some purpose right now, and as a Giants fan, you really hate to see that, but it is what it is. Them boys are good.
You beat me to talking about Corey Seager because I wanted to touch on him in the Dodgers preview next. And, believe me or not, that's fine. I always like to put stuff out there so it's made aware. So when it comes true, I'm like, I said that. But and I didn't really say this because I had Christian Yelich winning the MVP, and that's probably not going to happen in the National League this year. But I really did see Corey Seager as a dark horse MVP candidate. He's healthy. He's got a ton of protection around him, and I just felt like he was going to kind of be sneaky good again, like he was in his, early on in his career. And he's still only 25, 26. He's still young.
25, 26.
He's having a great year, man. And so we'll talk about him in a little bit.
Okay.
So Robbie's number 2, Los Angeles Dodgers. My number 2 is the same as last week, and that's the Minnesota Twins. 10-3, hitting the crap out of the ball, like you said, but the pitching's been good too. And I can never pronounce this dude's last name. I think it's Doniak, right? Randy Doniak.
I think it's Dobnik or something like that.
So the B's not silent. Okay.
Oh, the C is silent.
The B is silent. Yeah. Thank you, Billy. Yeah. But anyways, because I've watched him pitch, he's got that funky mustache. With the goggles. Dude's been really good. 15 innings pitched, a 0.6 ERA. Kenta Maeda has been good, a 1.64 ERA in 11 innings. The strikeout stuff is there. So to go along with dudes that are, hitting really well in the lineup, the pitching's been good too. And just like you said, the bullpen has been kind of overachieving. And who knows, they still have till the end of this month. It's going to sneak up on us, but the end of this month to make a trade or two and maybe add some depth to that bullpen.
They will go for this year's Sam Dyson once again, and we'll see if it works this time.
Maybe. So yeah, I'll keep it short. Minnesota Twins, my number 2. So do we even need to go past?
Yes, we do.
Okay,
because
Robbie, who's your number 1?
Their families might be listening. The New York Yankees, number 1. Aaron Judge is in God mode. 7 bombs, hitting over 300. If the Yankees are on, I don't watch all their pitch by pitch. It's not like that. But I'm always checking on my phone when Aaron Judge is coming up. And when he's coming up, I'm switching the freaking channel, and I'm going to watch him hit. And I don't know if he can keep this up because a big part of it right now is DJ LeMahieu. He's hitting a modest 459, and you can't walk Aaron Judge if that little fool is always on base. And he's
been good since he's come back, yeah.
That's a big, big part of it. If LeMahieu continues to get on base, I mean, how many home runs can Judge hit realistically in 60 games? We don't know, but I'd love to find out.
Low 20s, maybe realistically, 22, 23, which would equal out in like a 162 game season would be like high 50s, right around 60.
Yeah.
So
and I know teams, they want to walk him, but what are you going to do? You can't walk everybody in that lineup. And if dudes are on base, you got to live with it. And the starting pitching's been pretty spotty aside from Garrett Cole, but they got Tanaka back. Jay happened. Paxton
will get going.
Yeah, they begin lit up, but they're Jordan Montgomery's a wild card in there. I've always liked him. He's a lefty, he throws pretty hard, but they it's just an embarrassment of riches. And they just got Chapman back this week. And, if it's them and the Dodgers in the World Series, I will, it would. I wouldn't be
Boring.
mad. I mean, it would suck on a lot of levels, but
Be really entertaining.
I'd be the biggest Yankees fan in the motherfucking world.
Well, Robbie, a lot of us orange and black friends would.
I'd love to see it. I really would. But long way to go. But Yankees #1, no doubt.
And for all of those reasons, thank you, Robbie. Oh, by the way, and because Phil Nevin, thank you for calling.
Yeah.
Phil Nevin.
Yes.
I said this on Twitter the other night. I said, Phil Nevin, thank you for, actually saying how we have felt about Angel Hernandez, the worst umpire in baseball, maybe history, exactly how we all feel. So thank you.
Man.
And because of that, Phil Nevin's New York Yankees are my #1 team as well. And we don't need to go more than that. You covered all the bases there. No pun intended.
And we could hammer Angel Hernandez for a whole episode one day here soon. I'm in.
I wanted to do something a little different real quick before we get into this episode's going long, but I don't care. It's fine. Before we get into the Dodgers preview, which that probably won't take long because they've already played the Dodgers. Obviously, there's no other team the Giants know better than the Dodgers.
Yeah. Y'all know.
Yeah. Yeah, we all know it's not going to go good or go well. I wanted to talk about, like, what would your ideal San Francisco Giants lineup be right now? And I kind of came up with a versus a right-handed pitcher and a left-handed pitcher lineup, and they're not too different, a little bit, but and again, we don't need to spend too much time on this. I just thought it would be kind of fun to do.
Yeah.
So if you want me to go first,
you go first. Yeah, lead us off.
Okay. So against righties, this is my lineup. I have Slater leading off. I think Slater's been pretty consistent. He's hitting like 294.
I agree.
Can get on base. Has some speed, which this lineup doesn't have a ton of speed. So put him in.
Giants have never had since Marvin Bernard.
Correct. Donovan Solano, I love in the 2 spot because I feel like he's just finding gaps, finding ways to get on. So.
Mm-hmm.
And maybe, you think he could be a little more fit for the 3-4 spot, but he's getting on, set him up for your, consistent good hitters, which 3-hole, I have Yaz. I have Dickerson in the cleanup hole against righties. And then, this may be a little against what I preach a lot, but I like Evan Longoria in the 5-hole playing third. And then this one's a little different because I really like what Wilmer Flores has done. He's been pretty good. So I have him DHing and hitting 6th.
Okay.
Then I feel like this is where it can get a little more beneficial for guys hitting down here. In the 7-hole is Brandon Belt playing first. And again, I took into consideration, I think he could start building off last night's game. And we mentioned he's streaky. So maybe these next couple weeks he can get going. Not a ton of pressure on him in the 7-hole.
No,
maybe Belt can get going. My guy Dubon in the 8-hole, again, a position in the lineup where there's not a ton of pressure. But I want to see the younger guy in it because I have him at shortstop, and I know he can play short, second. And they've had him in the outfield and center. I want Dubon playing, and again, like I said the other day, I'm thankful for all the years Crawford's given, but I want to see Dubon. I want to see him. Yeah. He's starting to heat up. He had a home run today.
Got a little swag.
Yeah. Hey, whatever. Back it up. Make sure you're backing it up.
Yeah.
In the 9-hole, and in a perfect world, obviously we don't have the catcher named yet. In perfect world, I would love to see Joey Bart up already.
Sure. Yeah.
But we're not. Chadwick Trump's been showing signs. He's starting to show a little power. I have him in the 9-hole where he doesn't have a ton of pressure on him. Let's see what Trump can do in the 9-hole. So that is my right-handed lineup. Do you want to go, or do you want me to go into my left hand and then you can close that out?
I'll do the right-handed lineup real quick, I guess.
Let's do it.
Because
this is off the cuff, right?
Yeah, I'm just winging it. But really, it's pretty similar to yours. I think Slater needs more at bats. I think he loses club control after this year too. Am I right? I mean,
so showcase.
That dude's been around for freaking ever.
It feels like it.
Yeah, so I'm assuming like he's coming at the end of the rope here. So yeah, I
I'll
think
look it
right.
up while you're talking.
Yeah, good idea. Because I agree. I think right now because the Giants don't really have a leadoff hitter. Like I love Yastrzemski, getting all the bats he can, but he's got to be hitting third or fourth right now. You know, so I would go. Yeah, I'd hit Slater first at leadoff, and I would probably go with Belt second just because he takes pitches and I don't know. Like I'm trying very hard to get Belt out of an RBI spot, and now that the DH is in the National League, it's always an RBI spot now. Like there's no hole anymore in the lineup, I guess. But for now, like for starting off a game, I would like to see Belt hitting someone up there just because he gets pitches out of guys. So I'd go Belt too, and I know they've done
Okay.
that before, but whatever.
Okay.
Third, I would probably go with Yastrzemski. He's got more power than anybody on the team, and
Yeah.
I can see Slater and Belt getting on base somewhat consistently. He's your best hitter. You want guys on base so they can't pitch around him. So I'd go Yastrzemski in third. And as of right now, I keep hitting Longoria at cleanup. He's tearing the cover off the ball. He's got the experience. He doesn't go out of the zone that much. He gets fooled every now and then. He like a lot of the old guys on this team. He rolls over a lot still. But but yeah, like he doesn't get cheated for the most part. So I'd keep him at cleanup. And then fifth, I go with Dickerson. Just because he could run into one at any time. That
Mm-hmm.
I think that's a fair spot for him right now. Flores, hitting six, same thing. Like I didn't know he had that kind of power.
It's there.
All those years with the Mets and shit, like I just didn't notice.
He looks a little thicker too now, and I don't mean that in a weird way, but he looks
Whatever.
bigger
Is what it
now. But I don't know if he's put on maybe like 10 or 15 pounds of muscle. He just looks stronger like than he did. He looked like a dinky shortstop in New York, but he looks like he's put on some pounds. I don't know. That's just me.
Right. And this is just because I know he's gonna cool off. I'd roll with Solano down there in the 7-hole. We'll get to the lefty lineup, but in the 7-hole, I think that's a perfect spot for him because again, there's really no pressure on him down there for the most part, and you'll generally see fastballs down that low in the lineup. So I'd probably go with him down there. Eighth, man, Chadwick Trump, man, he's just tearing the cover off the ball right now, and
He's playing well.
yeah, it's hard to take that away from him right now. So, and we like Heineman a lot, but
He's got a great name, but come on,
he's got a great name. And in ninth, see, I am winging this. Ninth would be the DH spot in this lineup, wouldn't it?
Well, where did you have Flores?
Sixth.
I know, but playing where? Because you have Longoria, so is he your DH? Because I had Flores as my DH.
DH, yes.
So okay, I just want to make sure.
So yeah, you'd have to go
for shortstop.
Yeah, you'd have to go for defense purposes. And hitting ninth, that's not a big deal at this point. Crawford can't hit ninth at this point. That's fine.
Okay.
So.
And that's against righties. So
that's against right. He ain't playing against lefties. Trust me.
Okay. Fair enough. And by the way, to answer your question too, Austin Slater is under team control next year as well. So
crap.
Yeah, he's arbitration eligible in 2022. Making a cool $576,000 this year, divided by COVID ratio. So whatever. But
he's fine.
Okay, so I'll try and speed this up. My left-handed lineup: Slater in the 1-hole again. I have Solano 2, Yastrzemski 3. I think we agree. Your best hitter hits third.
Mm-hmm.
Your best hitter hits third. Now I flip these guys here. I have Longoria hitting cleanup and Dickerson hitting fifth, just like you did in your right-handed lineup.
Okay.
I have Flores hitting 6th, DHing again, and then here's where I got a little fun. For against the left-hander, I want to see Darren Ruff get some more ABs against lefties. And
he's played against every lefty, I think, so far.
And yeah, so I want to continue that again. Lower in the lineup, 7-hole, not a huge amount of pressure on you. Let's see if we can continue to hit him. And Belt can just focus on the next day right-handed starter. I'm sorry.
Hell yeah.
I know Belt's much better defensively, but we need all the power we can get, even though our defense has been horrible. And just like the other lineup, Dubon at short, Trump catching. So that's 8 and 9 right there. So a little different, but not too big of a change.
Yeah. Let's see. Again, I think you'd have to lead off with Slater. Now against the lefty, I would probably move Solano up to the 2-hole.
Okay.
Just the way he's swinging the bat right now, it's just hard to. It's hard to keep him out of there and not be in an effective spot, especially against lefties, because even under Bochy, he was playing against lefties.
Yeah,
he was getting on the field on the field against lefties. So you got to keep him out there. At least if on the platoon level, and then Yastrzemski for sure. Doesn't matter who the hell's pitching; he should be hitting 3rd. Mm-hmm. Still, I go with Longoria 4th, and 5th, man, probably Flores. His lefty's better. Now, see, I'm trying to figure out whether I want Dickerson in there or not against lefties.
I just kept him in there as in the 5-hole too, because he can pop one out against anybody. So, I think he's a semi-consistent power bat, and if not, he's finding the gap. So that's why I kept him in there against even a lefty.
Yeah, you know what? I'd probably keep him in there too, hitting 6, just because the team doesn't have a lot of power. Then like you said, Darren Ruff has got to be in there. Mm-hmm. Just his whole career, he's scored lefties, and even over there in the Korean League last year, or the last 2 years actually. I'm sorry, the dude hit like 70 home runs in 2 years. Like,
he had shown some power too a few years ago in Philly.
Yeah, the dude's got plus power. Yeah. So if he's gonna be here, then you got to roll with that.
Yeah.
Then I think you got to get Dubon out there against the lefties, and then probably go with Trump again, hit 9th. I mean, I know it's not gonna. He's not gonna play every day. We know that because Joey Bart's the guy that's coming. So they're gonna try to showcase Heineman and Trump for a bigger picture, So we'll see though.
Our lineup's pretty similar then.
Against lefties,
against
for
lefties,
sure.
yeah,
for sure. It's been working. So,
but
that's generally what they've been doing.
I know it's the cliche thing to say right now, but if you throw and again, he's never hit against major league pitching, at least during a regular season. But man, if we can get Joey Bart to do half of what we expect him to do, mm-hmm. and throw him in this lineup, it's not a horrible lineup. It's not a horrible lineup.
No, it's not.
So we'll see. So those are our lineups. Again, like I said, as we get into the Dodgers preview, we don't have to go too much into detail. We know what we're going to get. The lineup is crazy good. They're pretty good defensively, and they have a great rotation. So tomorrow, Friday, Samardzija and Urias. Saturday, Cueto and Kershaw. And Sunday, Gosman and Buehler. And so all three just were already mismatched. Walker Buehler hasn't been good as you would think. And actually, maybe I'm cursing dudes. I don't know, because I had him winning the NL Cy Young. Still could but he's got to turn it around. He's got to start turning it around now in a 60-game season.
Yeah, he will.
But yeah, and I also mentioned they just took 2 of 3 in San Diego, by the way. And San Diego is another NL West team that's been playing not bad baseball.
They're really good.
But yeah, my last thought before, and I'll let you take the rest of it because I just wanted to touch on these real quick. Like I mentioned earlier, I really like Corey Seager. I think he stays as advertised. Like, and he showed it early in his career. Like, great glove. Guy is a great power bat, but also hits for average. Finds ways to get on base. I really do think Corey Seager will be in the MVP talk at the end of this year. So
that's a bold take. Yeah. But I think, I mean, at worst, he's going to be in contention for the batting title. It's just it's hard. It's hard not to see that happening with all the dudes around him and all the guys that are always on base for him. But yeah, it's gonna be interesting. You know, they're gonna be facing 2 lefties with Urias and Kershaw, so we're gonna get a good look at these lefty lineups we've been talking about. Because I think, at least on the lefty standpoint, I think Kapler's kind of down our road a little bit too. Although he hasn't been playing Bell at all against lefties or Crawford, and I'm with that. So good on him.
Yeah.
And also the Giants are going to be at least plus 200 dogs in all of these games this weekend.
Probably.
At least. So keep that in mind. You know, if you wake up feeling real good, you have a good breakfast, or like something goes right early in the day and, you know, you're loving the Giants. Yeah, the Giants are going to be big dogs all weekend. So a little can win you a lot.
And that's our Dodgers. That's our Dodger preview. Again, we know the Dodgers. We don't need to go too many. We play them multiple times a year. This is already the second trip down to Dodger Stadium. It's in the middle of this brutal 10-game trip, like we've mentioned. So we'll see how it goes. I would think if they find a way to win 1 out of 3 in this trip, then it's a good trip. Or I mean, you know, to LA at least. So
yeah, you know what?
Way to win.
They're good. The Giants really aren't, but it's baseball, so bring it on.
Yeah. All right. Well, again, thanks for joining us. This is episode 4 already. Can you believe that, dude? No. Episode 4. We're flying along. And if you haven't noticed, we really like to recap after the series and kind of preview the next one right away. So, I mean, why not? It works the best that way.
It feels like the first time every time.
It really does. Wow. But, you know, I'll try and get this out tonight. If not, it will be out before game 1 of this Dodgers series, so everybody can listen. Make sure you're following us on Twitter and Instagram, as always, at Say Hey Podcast. Follow me at Say Hey Doug, and follow Rob at Say Hey Rob on Twitter. Again, like I said in the beginning, make sure you're subscribed on Apple Podcasts, give us 5 stars, following on Spotify, and subscribed on YouTube. So make sure you have all those platforms at your side, so you're ready to go. I don't know why I said at your side, but anyways, for Say Hey Doug and for Say Hey Rob, go Giants.
Go Giants. Don't get swept.